Welcome to the Roundup, episode 16, where we corral all the freshest news stories and bring it to you live every Thursday at 5 p.m. from downtown Canada. This week, we have a YouTuber who created a gigantic Nintendo Switch, the FA4, and the OG getting nerfed in the latest Call of Duty patch, the show 2021 coming to Xbox Game Pass, and much more. Thank you again for the click, and I stream from Monday to Thursday at 5 p.m. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Cole_Drake41. And enjoy the video. Got one. Oh, fucking down two! I down both! Jesus. Yeah, I got them all. Damn. Damn. And these Diamatis are actually pretty good. Call of Duty Warzone's latest patch nerfs the game's best guns. The AUG and FAR 1 both got adjusted. This is from Polygon. Is a pretty reliable news resource. So after last week's somewhat minor nerfs, Raven Software has returned with another set of adjustments. Those even nerfs, like they said they nerfed the AUG, but like it really didn't do much. Maybe it changed like 3% of its effectiveness. It was still like a beast of a gun. So after last week's somewhat minor nerfs, Raven Software has returned with another set of adjustments for Call of Duty Warzone weapons. This time around, the developer is bringing more sizable changes to both the AUG tactical rifle and the FAR 1 assault rifle. Two best guns in the game right now. The two guns that most people are running. Most big streamers, most big Call of Duty players, they're all running those guns. You'll see it, like if you're at the end circle, maybe if you're just top 25, and you kill somebody and you need guns, and then you pick up their guns, they're most likely running an AUG or a FAR. The AUG, also known as the Tactical Rifle Charlie, which is a weird name, got a nerf last week, but it seems that it wasn't quite enough to rein in its power. This time around, Raven did once again increasing the gun's recoil, which should make it much harder to control. Raven's notes explained that it wants the AUG to remain powerful, just not as dominant as it has been recently. So they want it to be still strong, but like, yeah. I played last night, and yeah, you could definitely tell. You could definitely tell the recoil was kind of crazy. I was missing so many shots. Like the first shot is good, but after that, it's just so much harder to control with your mouse. Yeah. So definitely the AUG is probably, unless you're like really, really good with controlling your mouse, controlling recoil. Like if you're really good doing that, then you might still use the AUG. But for me, honestly, the recoil has made it kind of hard to use. Just not, but recently. Since the changes don't represent the shift in the gun's overall damage, it's difficult to say how much of the nerf will it really be. Warzone's other dominant gun over the last several weeks has been the FAR, or the FFR. I call it just the FAR, because the FFR just sounds weird. The FAR 1 assault rifle, which is a versatile mobile weapon with lots of great uses. To bring its power down a bit, the aim down sight speed has been decreased. This should give players a slight delay before they are able to pull up their sights in close range combat. So they increased it. I don't know why I say they decreased it. They increased the ADS speed. Right now, a lot of people use they don't put any scopes on the FAR and they use it as an SMG. So I guess that's another way of being able to like. Because as soon as you ADS, it's like really whoever ADS is first wins the match, pretty much wins like the battle. So if they can increase the speed on that, then they can make other guns more viable in the meta, right? So they should give players a slight delay before they're able to pull up their sights in close range combat, which might remove a bit of the FAR's impressive power, especially against submachine guns. For a look at all the changes in the latest Warzone patch, you can check the Ravens full patch notes. So in the April 6th patch, they added camos for R1 Shadowhunter, which is the crossbow. I hate that gun. Obviously, recoil strength has been increased. ADS speed. There was only 2 guns that actually, fixed. But like, I think even the FAR is still a really good gun to use. Like, I don't think they nerfed it enough. You just got to ADS a little bit earlier than your opponent does now, and then it still is powerful. But the recoil is insane on the new on the AUG. So, and then they did some attachments. They adjusted that, so they rear grip attachments that showed ADS speed pros should now properly increase ADS speed. Fix the bug with the Groza with the 16.5 CMV mil-spec barrel would bypass damage fall. I actually never knew about that. That's something that's different. Fixed a bug with Ember sighting point with the XM4, AK-47, and their ADS speed increased rather than decreased. Fixed a bug with the Salvo fast mag for the FFR and M16. We're not having their ADS speed decreased. Pelican 703 wrapped suppressor effects, which should now properly represent their status bar. Okay. So obviously guns are definitely getting a little bit, nerfed, which is good. So that means some guns will be better now in the new meta. And people are saying now the M16 might be the new meta, so we'll have to see. I'm definitely gonna, when I'm done with the roundup, I'm definitely gonna try building an M16 build and see what I can do with on Warzone. Alright, on to the second news story. This one's pretty cool. I don't really cover Nintendo news that much. I have a controversial opinion. I don't know. I like Nintendo. Like when I was a kid, I grew up. I played a lot of the games, but like as a grown up, like I don't know. I'm just not into Nintendo games as much. But like that might people might not care. Like people might be just like, what the hell? You don't like Nintendo? No, I like Nintendo, but I'm just not into their games as much nowadays. Like I really don't care about the Switch. I don't know. I kind of like the most powerful console, most powerful PC, and I think a lot of PC gamers might just be into that kind of stuff. So like they might just not be into Nintendo as much as other console guys. So plus their games are fun. I don't know. I'm not like craving to play Mario Odyssey and all that stuff. So, but this is a cool news story though. Mad video game scientist creates an enormous Nintendo Switch. One of the Nintendo Switch's most notable features is that it can easily be used as either home video game console or as a portable handheld device. Naturally, someone has decided to go ahead and destroy the capability by painstakingly creating a functioning Switch that's about as big as a grown person. That's crazy. There's a video too. I didn't even know that. The Galapagos Switch was made by YouTuber Michael Pick, who documented his mad quest in a recent video. I really like the Nintendo Switch. He says the opening, it's small, it's portable, and it's really easy to lose. And for me, that was a problem. Whereas most of us would just try harder to keep track of our system, Pick decided the best way to solve this issue was to break out the tools and build a 30 by 70, 65-pound version of the console. His creation is apparently 650% bigger than the normal model. Okay, so yeah, as you see a picture of this over here, it is massive. It's absolutely massive. That's pretty cool. It'd be like a really cool like piece. Like if someone comes to your house, they're like, "Oh, look at that! It's a huge Switch." This cool like you can tell a good story about it and stuff like that. And just it's more of like an art decoration than it is a console, but it's more of just for small talk purposes. He calls it the world's largest fully functioning Nintendo Switch, a claim we have no reason to doubt, given that other monstrous Switches have come lumbering out of the primeval? Is it primeval? Is that how you say that? Primeval force lately. Once finished with the construction, Pick set the Switch down on a desk, hooks up a wireless controller, and plays a few rounds of Mario Kart and Fortnite on the behemoth. It all works even if it's so big. That's playing without an attached controller. Basically requires 2 people to operate the thing. That's fine. Aside from the lack of practicality, the Mutant console is very cool as a novelty device. Yeah, I was just saying, it's a really cool novelty device. Interesting. Let's check a little bit of the video. He's measuring the Switch, and he's like, "Do the buttons work? That'd be cool."
This is a Nintendo Switch, and this is the world's largest fully functional Nintendo Switch.
So the buttons do work. That's crazy. That's insane.
Every single button works, even the side triggers. I really like the Nintendo Switch.
I thought the
It's
buttons
small,
would be
it's
just for the
portable,
novelty.
but it's really easy to lose, and for me that was a problem. So I decided to fix that by making something that was a little bit larger and just a little bit harder to lose. In this video, I'm going to show you how I built the world's first fully functional giant Nintendo Switch and then giving it away at the end of the video.
Oh, he's giving it away. Nice. I kind of miss woodworking. That's one of my things I was really into when I was younger. Maybe I should get back into it. I used to like carve things and shit like that, sand them down. It was nice, man. It was nice, cool working on that stuff. I was like in construction class from like in high school as well.
One of the really cool features about this giant Switch is that you can play with the Joy-Cons or with an external Pro controller.
I hope so. I like this over camera view right there. Above shoulder view. That's what I was trying to say. I'm fucking retarded, man. What's he gonna do? How's he gonna accelerate? Oh, I guess you can press L for acceleration. Okay. Isn't acceleration usually A? This is interesting. This makes the most sense. I wonder if those things are detachable. The blue and red little side things. I forgot what they're called.
The first person in the history of mankind to be killed by a giant Switch.
Yeah, you can't. You definitely can't play Fortnite on. Oh, you can't take it. Okay, you can't.
This is how it all
Circuit
works.
board.
So up top we have a Joy-Con controller, and it's in a 3D printed mount that I made. This mount allows me to attach servos on top of the Joy-Con controller without destroying it. By just removing a few screws, the Joy-Con can easily be released from the mount.
Oh, okay. So they.
We have the Arduino. This is the microcontroller that tells the circuit.
So are those like? So if you press the button, it actually touches the button on the bottom on the actual Joy-Con controller. That's interesting. I thought like he set up like circuits that would connect to the TV or something, but no, it's like different. It's like there's actual like pressured like little like stamps that go down and press on the button. It's
servos what to do, and that takes the input from the front panel and it tells each servo
yeah,
what button to press.
and each servo touches it.
Below that we have the Nintendo Switch. I have this little shelf.
There's gonna be a bit of a lag
The
though.
front panel has these
That's the only
3D
thing.
printed buttons that I printed and painted. The joysticks were also 3D printed. I used rubber bands to center the giant joysticks over the factory joysticks.
That's crazy.
This thing is massive, measuring 70 by 30 inches. It weighs 65 pounds, has a 4K display, and
Let's get first 4K Switch. Oh, shit.
Like I said in the beginning of my video, I'm not going to be keeping the Switch. It's actually intended for St. Jude's Children's Hospital. I'll put a link in the description where you can find more about what they do.
That's really cool. All right, let's go on to the next news story. So this one's kind of controversial. So this is from Al Jazeera. It's a YouTube video too. So it's like, is killing Arabs just a game to some? So this is like, so obviously Al Jazeera is I think they're from Qatar, yeah, they're from Qatar, right? Or Qatar, depending on how you like to pronounce it. They have a bias towards certain things, but if you're going to do a historical, let's watch the video first before I make my comments. It's a long video. We won't watch all of it. We'll just see a bit of it.
Hi, I'm from the OK. Today on the stream, should real-life events be used in video games?
Sorry, let me just switch. Move my camera over to this side, and then.
How you react to that question will really influence how you watch today's show. We are going to be looking at a controversial video game that's based on a very controversial war. Take a look at 6 Days in Fallujah.
It was a well-prepared city, buttressed, waiting for us to come.
The only way you can clear a city is you have to search every house, you have to search every room, and you have to root out every insurgent.
A third of my retirement is filled with me.
It was the bunkers they would build inside houses. And you would go in the house and be all quiet. And then they would open up on you or shoot you through a hole in the wall.
You kick down that door, and there's a sense of relief. You only feel it if you survive.
I remember watching this trailer on the show as well. I don't think this game's gonna be made, honestly. I think people are still kind of think it's a sensitive topic. Even when it was first announced back in, I think, 2008, it was a sensitive topic back then because I think the Iraq War was still going on.
So that game, 6 Days in Fallujah, was originally due to be released in 2009.
2009.
Shut it down. It is
Might get shut down again.
being developed. What should it be? Your thoughts? YouTube awaits you. Jump into the comment section and you can talk to our guests. Let's say hello to the guests. Hello to Yassine. Hello to Rami. Hello to Rebecca. Yassine, tell everybody who you are, what you do. Welcome to the stream.
Thank you for having us. My name is Yassine. I'm commonly known as Narsi. I'm the founder of Iraqafella. We are the medium based out of Montreal, Canada, and I am a proud Iraqi.
Good to have you. Rami, welcome to the stream. Tell everybody who you are, what you do.
Hi, I'm Rami Swain. I'm a half Dutch, half Egyptian game developer. I'm also an industry ambassador who focuses on underrepresented viewpoints and marginalized people.
Nice to have you. Hello, Rebecca. Tell everybody who you are and what you do.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Valentine. I'm a video game journalist, a reporter currently working with IGN.
I've never heard of this person before.
Business journalism and how games get made.
Good to have you.
Oh.
Let's start this debate. It is a debate immediately. Yassine, you were watching that trailer and you were shaking your head. Why?
I mean, for the last 20 years of my life, but let's say for the last 30 years in the gaming industry, games about Iraq have come out and dehumanized the life and commodified Iraqi death. And this was just, the sort of the tip of the iceberg for me to be in the position that I'm in and to have access to social media. A group of friends of mine in the Iraqi community who are also creatives and gamers. I'm not in the gaming industry, I'm more in the music and film industry. We came together to start a petition against this game coming out. As you mentioned, it was canceled before for the similar reasons, and there are games that are based on the parody of reality, or games that are based on artificial cities. But this game itself is based on a true conflict that occurred.
Is this actual gameplay?
People died due to it.
This looks terrible.
Families were displaced due to it. As
Even
well
this
as
game is going to be...
with incredible levels of PTSD. So this is not a game. Our hashtag is Iraq is not a video game. This shouldn't exist, and it shouldn't be something that people play to trivialize a real life.
So, okay, I know where this video is going. So my question to these people is... Alright, so is it okay for a movie to be set in the Iraq War? Is it okay for that? We've had many movies set in the Iraq War. What was that movie? What was it called? The one with Jeremy Renner. I think it won an Oscar. Yeah, The Hurt Locker. That was set in the Iraq War, and obviously it won an Oscar too for best movie of that year. I think it was 2009 when it came out. There's been a lot of movies set in the Iraq War, and I think people, when they think about video games, they think it's just. I think the people who are against this kind of thing don't really play video games, in my opinion, and they don't know like video games. It's known that video games don't have there's a scientific study that says that there's no correlation between video games and aggression in life. They did like a 10-year study. They followed these kids from 10, I think it was 10 to 20, and they found out there was no correlation on aggressiveness for video games. And they found that out, man. And there's no aggressive. It's just like some people just don't know that much about video games. They don't really follow it. They didn't grow up with it, or they didn't have people around with them that were gamers, just like that. They just don't know that the community is pretty cool. It can be toxic sometimes, but most communities are toxic sometimes. But it's just another form of media or art that's showcasing an event that happened in the early 2000s. And I think that most people nowadays, I think it's just they just see something that's really connected to them, really close to where they came from, and they just feel like they have to be offended. But if you look at the stats of the Iraq War and then that battle was one of the biggest battles of that war, and a lot of casualties were killed, the American casualties, and a lot of people on the Iraq side were killed as well. Why don't you want people to know the story about that battle against Saddam Hussein, against, like, a dictator who, like, why don't you want to know? Like, I would want to know about the history of that battle and what happened, right? I was really young when the Iraq War was going on, but I didn't really. Oh, I think it's called the Second Iraq War because the Americans fought Iraq in the 90s as well. So there's the Second Iraq War, and I would love to know more about what happened. And, like, I would love to know both sides. It would suck that they only show one side, the American side, but I hope they show more of each side, which is pretty cool. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like people need to realize that there's like being offended about something that happened in real life and like some real stories is just, there's more. You can put more effort into something. You don't have to think about this. And obviously some Iraqis died. Obviously a lot of Iraqis died. A lot of Americans died. It was war. That's what happens. If you make something about a game or a movie or music or any type of TV show about a specific historical event, there's going to be people that are going to get pissed off on it. Like, if you think about it, World War II is the biggest example because World War II was so long ago. A lot of the people who were in that war have already died out. I'm pretty sure a lot of them are still alive, but a huge majority of people have died. So it's easy to make those games anymore. Make games and movies about World War II. I'm assuming in the 1950s, it was very tough making a World War II movie or TV show because it was so close to heart, right? But I think as more time passes, less people will give a shit. It's the unfortunate reality of life. People just forget about it or they stop caring about it and they deal with something else in their life or something. But I think eventually we'll get, I don't know if we'll get this game, but we'll get something about 6 Days in Fallujah because I have a feeling it's getting a lot of hate again. Even 10 years after the initial release was going to happen, like even after 10 years after they cancel it, there's still a lot of hate for this game. And the game looks pretty ugly. Like, I'm looking at this footage. This game looks dog trash. Like,
imperialist perspective that has continued and been present in media for as long as I've lived.
toxic, imperialist.
What I think is really striking about this game, and I think the reason a lot of people see it as different.
I'll watch maybe 2 more minutes.
Everything Yassine said is true, right? So far, the games industry at large has had I don't want to call it respect, but the decency to at least create this fictional Arab country. And it's this mix of stereotypes, this mix of a dehumanization where they can't even set the games in the real countries. But in a way, when you're talking about something as traumatic and as devastating as war, this
What I will say about I don't know if you guys ever played Modern Warfare's storyline. There's a lot of, so they've created a new I think it was a new country called Urzikstan. I forget the name of it, but they didn't only show the American side or the British side of the war. They had a rebel group inside of that country that was fighting the Russians, and they really showed you the characters in that side. So there's Farah and then her brother in that game too, and they did a really good job of showing both sides. They didn't make the most, like, the Arab people to be terrorists. I feel like if they do a rendition like that where they show that there's good sides, there's good people on both sides, then I think it'll be better. But if it's just straight up about the American military going in, killing people, a bunch of Arabs or something like that, then I think they'll get a lot of negativity. But if they could show both sides, like, obviously it wasn't only the Americans that were fighting against Saddam. There was other, rebel forces inside of Iraq that were also fighting alongside the Americans. It wasn't just the Americans fighting. So I hope they show both sides to it.
we call it Arabistan, like in the industry, is actually sort of a boon because at least it's not, even though it's dehumanizing, even though it's offensive, it's not directly touching any real people.
It's funny, they always say Russia. Russia doesn't give a fuck. I think Russia should be more pissed off. Like, they're always the bad guys in every Call of Duty. If you think about it, the Russians are always the bad guys, and they're never complaining. They're never complaining about it. Again, it's priorities, right? The Russians like, alright, cool, what are the bad guys? I don't give a shit. Arabs, they're like, no! They get so offended, you know, it's just... You know, I mean, like... But I do hope they show both sides. That's for sure. Okay, I'm not gonna watch this whole video, but yeah, definitely check out the whole video. I'll probably watch it later on, but I didn't know it was gonna be this whole interview style session style stuff. So, and we're already like 32 minutes into the roundup. Let's jump into the next news story. This is by NME. I've never heard of this website, but there's a cool story. So MLB The Show 2021 releasing on Xbox wasn't Sony's decision. MLB decided to bring the franchise to more players and baseball fans. Sony representative has confirmed that MLB The Show 2021 upcoming release on Xbox consoles was solely the MLB's decision. The anonymous rep said to Inverse, as part of the goal for this year's game, MLB decided to bring the franchise to more players and baseball fans. This decision provides a unique opportunity to further establish the MLB The Show as the premier brand for baseball games. So obviously, I think the license, I think they had the license for the MLB franchise for I think a certain amount of years. I think the license just ended, and now they can put the game on both. Because there's no other MLB games out there. This is the only MLB game. Like, all the other ones have failed and died out. So this is the premier MLB game. And the MLB is like, you know, if you think about it, I think baseball is like slowly dying out. It's not as popular as it used to be. I remember in the 2000s. I think before the steroids epidemic, baseball, I think, was maybe the second most popular sport in America. It was like right behind football. But I don't even think baseball is like, I don't have to find the stats, but baseball is not that popular nowadays. I would say like football is the most popular. I don't think anything will ever beat football. Then I think basketball is now second, and I think maybe hockey is more popular than MLB nowadays. So I don't know, maybe it might be a third, fourth place tie, but I have to look into the stats. But I feel like baseball has dropped a lot. So, and they obviously want to. This is the only game that they have that have all the licenses and all the stuff. So they want to make sure everybody can play it, not only like this sub group of, you know, consoles, right? Anonymous rep at the Inverse as part of the goal for years, MLB decided to bring the franchise to more baseball fans. The decision provides a unique opportunity to further establish the MLB The Show as the premier brand for baseball video games. The rep comment comes after it was announced the MLB 2021 will be released on Xbox One, Xbox X and S, Xbox Game Pass. That's probably the biggest news. The Xbox Game Pass. Is this not coming on PC? Oh shit, I'm pissed. I'm not pissed, but I really wanted it. I haven't played a baseball game in a very long time. When I heard it was coming out on Xbox, I assumed it was coming on PC. The hell, is that really coming out on PC? Doesn't make any sense. Okay. Alongside PS4, PS5, this marks the first time MLB Show game has been released on Xbox in 2006. When the game became a PlayStation exclusive. The Inverse also spoke to several analysts who believe that the move makes practical sense for the MLB in terms of reaching a wider audience. I'm sure MLB has been watching the in-game monetization of other sport games franchise like Madden and FIFA. With interest, is thinking about an audience reach rather than premium sales in this case. And Ampere Analysis Research Director Piers Harding Rolls, a hard name to say. The MLB The Show 21 will release on April 20th Xbox consoles via standard purchasing options and Xbox Game Pass. That was the biggest deal. I don't know how they got that deal, but that's a great deal for people on Xbox. So Game Pass just keeps getting better and better, man. It's just like, it's crazy, man. Like, I have Game Pass, and there's so many great games, and like, just imagine all the exclusives are gonna come out this year. Like, Halo's gonna come out this year. There's rumors that what's it called? I'm blanking on the name. The Elder Scrolls people. Starfield. There you go. I figured it took me a second. So Starfield. There's rumors that Starfield might come out this year. They might do like one of those shadow launches, like that Fallout 4 had, where they just announced it 6 months before the game came out, and they just like, oh yeah, it's coming out in a year. So yeah, Game Pass getting better and better. Players will also get to enjoy crossplay, meaning Xbox players will, players will go up against PlayStation players. Every game should do this. Every single game, honestly. If you don't have crossplay, it's just dumb. MLB The Show 2021 will also include cross progress, meaning players will be able to transfer their progress over PlayStation and Xbox. That sucks, man. I haven't heard a single thing that says PC. So it's not coming out on PC? That's fucking dumb, man. I hate that so much right now. Alright. Last news story. The next Forza Motorsport is gearing up for early testing, and you can be part of it. It's an exciting time for Forza Motorsport as Microsoft's sim racing franchise is gearing up for a reboot and its first installment on the Xbox Series X and S generations of consoles, while there's no indication as of yet that we'll see the game release in 2021, developers Turn 10 Studios revealed that Wednesday that it will soon be offering up a part of the upcoming project to play testers in its Forza panel. To check it out for yourself, you'll have to sign up for Turn 10's feedback panel. Registration is quick and can be done in a couple minutes using this basic survey. Though it's unclear when the invitations will go out, the official Forza Motorsport Twitter originally said that participants had already begun to receive invites through it later clarified that it hadn't actually happened yet, and players would get their chance soon. Dropped the Forza Monthly to deliver an update to Forza Motorsport participants in the Forza feedback panel as starting to get their hands on the game for playtesting. So this means I think Forza Motorsport's coming out this year. My opinion. I think this year Forza Motorsport comes out, and I just like when the last Forza came out in 2017. So they've been working on this game for 3 years. And let's say if it comes out in the fall, it'll be 4 years of development. I think that's ample time to make a new revolutionary Forza game. Because before they were on a 2-year cycle. So it'd be Forza Motorsport and then Forza Horizon come out. And then so each year there'd be a different Forza. And I doubt Forza Horizon is going to be out anytime soon. I think they're definitely working on Fable first. And I think most of their attention is probably on Fable. And depending on how big their second studio is now. And the thing is, they can't come out with Fable and Forza Horizon 5 Playground can't come out with both of those the same year. Obviously, they don't have that ability to do so. But I could see Forza Motorsport coming out this year, Fable coming out in 2022, and then Forza Horizon 2023, and Forza Motorsport, whatever they call it, in 2024. So I could see that happening. That's for sure. The news today is will be soon be able to share our people in our Forza panel. They will be able to get their hands on the a new part of the Forza Motorsport game. So if you're part of the Forza panel, highly recommend. If you're not already Forza panel, the only way to get your hands on this part of the new Forza Motorsport title is to be part of the panel. Okay, that's good. I honestly think this year we're gonna get Halo Infinite. Obviously, we're going to get Starfield. That's gonna happen, and I think we're gonna get Forza Motorsport. I think more people were saying that it might be Forza Horizon, but I just think if you look at the timing, Forza Horizon came out in 2018, so they've had 2 years to develop Fable Playground games. And another 2 years for a second team to work on Forza Horizon. And I just don't think that's enough time to put out a game nowadays. You need 2 or 3 years for at least a great game. You can put out a game in 2 years, but it's not going to be as good. So I think they're going to give them another year or another time. Or they might just release Forza Horizon maybe in March, but I don't know. I don't think Xbox wants to cannibalize their both their racing games. They want to give a year to each one. So, but if I was a betting man, I would say Forza Horizon comes out this year. And this story, sorry, I just knocked it. And I think the story just tells you that they're already starting testing, and they showed a trailer last year. And usually these release schedules are like maybe a year or 2 years before, like they announce a trailer, and maybe a year or 2 years the game comes out. So I would really be surprised if it doesn't come out this year. Very surprised. But yeah, that was the last news story. Thanks again for watching the video, guys. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, it's Cole_Drake41. And enjoy your day. I got him. Fuck. Oh.